Hello again, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about a super important part of English grammar: conditionals. Conditionals help you to talk about possibilities, hypothetical situations, and even regrets. This might seem a bit tricky, but don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to use them. We'll break them down step by step, look at lots of examples, and you'll even get some tips to avoid common mistakes. So stick around, you're going to love this. What are conditionals? Conditionals are sentences that have two parts: a condition, the if part, and a result. They can refer to the present, the future, or the past, but they also tell us the degree of probability of that condition. There are 4 main types of conditionals you'll need to know, and we're going to explore each one step by step. So, let's get started. We will start asking ourselves, is the condition possible? If the answer is yes, then we'll ask, what is the probability of this happening? If the probability is 100%, we are talking about something that is always true. Then we use the zero conditional. The structure is if plus present simple, comma, present simple, condition, if it rains, result, the street gets wet. The zero conditional is used for facts or things that are always true. It's like talking about rules of nature or general truths. So it doesn't matter when the condition is met. In the present or the future, the result is 100% possible. It's a fact. See these other examples. If you heat water to 100 degrees, it boils. If the sun sets, it gets dark. These are facts. They're always true. Simple, right? But what happens if the probability is up to 99.9%? Then we use the first conditional. The structure is if plus present simple, comma, will, plus the base form of the verb. For example, condition. If it rains, result, I'll stay at home. The first conditional is used to talk about things that could actually happen. We are talking about a possibility, not a fact. We use it to talk about possible events and the results that will follow. See these examples. If you invite her, she will come. If you study hard, you'll pass the test. Here, we're talking about possibilities. There is a possibility to fail the test. For example, you are late, so you can't take the test. And what happens when something is not possible? Then we'll be talking about unreal situations, and we'll use the second conditional. The structure is if plus past simple, comma, would plus the base form of the verb. For example, condition. If I were you, result, I'd study more for the exam. I cannot become you. So this is an unreal or hypothetical situation. Think of it like a what-if scenario, an imaginary situation. Also, take note of if I were instead of if I was. Let's see some examples. If I had £1 million, I would buy a yacht. If I got an invitation to the Oscars, I would go. Notice that we're talking about imaginary situations. I don't have £1 million, but I'm imagining it. Remember, use the second conditional to talk about unreal or unlikely situations in the present or future. Let's try something. Can you tell which one is correct? If I win the lottery, I'll buy a new car. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new car. Let's look at the first sentence. Is it possible? Yes, there is a possibility, small, but there is a possibility that I win the lottery. Is it 100% possible? No, so it's definitely not a fact. Then we can use the first conditional. Now, let's look at the second sentence. Is it possible? Unless you have a ticket, no. And even with a ticket, there is a very, very small possibility. So we could say that it's an imaginary situation. Then we can use the second conditional. Confusing. These examples are both correct. It all depends on what the speaker wants to express. You are optimistic and see it as a possibility. First conditional. But use the second conditional when you view it as something unreal, imaginary. So far, we have been talking about possibilities and probabilities in the present and the future, but what about when we talk about the past? When you want to talk about past regrets, missed opportunities, or things you wish had been different, then use the third conditional. The structure is if plus past perfect, comma, would have, plus past participle. For example, condition. If I had studied harder, result, I would have passed the test. Here, we're talking about the past, but we're imagining a different outcome. I didn't study harder, so I didn't pass, but I'm imagining a world where I did. The third conditional is used to talk about past regrets or missed opportunities. It's like saying, if I had done this, something else would have happened. Look at these examples. If we had left earlier, we would have caught the train. If we hadn't wasted time, we would have left earlier from work. Remember, the third conditional is about past events that would have resulted in a different outcome. Next, we are going to look at some important things to remember when using conditionals. The condition and the result are separated by a comma. If it rains, the street gets wet. If I were you, I'd study more for the exam. The order of the condition, the one with if, and the result can change, and then there is no comma. I'll help you if you want. I would make an appointment if I were you. Don't use will or would in the if part of the sentence. For example, it's wrong to say, if it will rain, I'll stay home. If I would be rich, I would buy a mansion. Instead, say, if it rains, I'll stay home. If I were rich, I would buy a mansion. These are the four main types of conditionals, so let's do a quick recap. Zero conditional, for facts, things that are always true. First conditional, for real future possibility. Second conditional, for unreal or hypothetical situations in the present or future. Third conditional, for past regrets. And that's it for today's lesson on conditionals. Leave a comment with your questions and I'll be happy to answer them. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips and lessons like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.